That's us done. I wish it was as simple as that, Duke. I wish I could just press start and just go without having to talk about it. But we got to be fair and even-handed, haven't we? I mean, we talk about the victories. We've got to talk about the defeats. And this, unfortunately, was one of them away at Tottenham yesterday, which I was very lucky, or, well, it depends upon your point of view. But I was the very lucky recipient at the 11th hour of a ticket. You were indeed. Which I've got to say thank you to Charlie, on who's one of the Hammers Chat Patreons on the Addicts level. And we've got like a little WhatsApp group that goes on there. And that was how I got hold of the ticket. But he wasn't very well. So if you're watching this, Charlie, hope you're feeling better, mate. He sent me a message this morning, sort of like words to the effect of, sorry that I had to subject you to sitting through watching that crap. But it is what it is. But I'll get this bit out of the way. Please don't forget to like, comment on, and share the stream. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit the bell icon for new alerts, on new content. And as always, guys, we thank you very much indeed for your support. Duke, so you was in the pub, you was watching the events unfold on a telly. What was your perspective on it? Right. Let me paint you a picture, Rob. Ooh, a little bit of art. Hello to everyone in the chat. Hey, Kieran, Sharky, Budge, and Andy. Good evening. Nice. And girls, if you arrive later. Budge. If there are any. I saw the team sheet come out, Rob. Had a look. And the first name that jumped out at me. I wonder who. Was Twatface Arse Bandit, Arthur Masuaku. Right. Good evening, Richard. That's one of the more genteel names I've heard you give him over the recent past. Yeah. Richard. Yes. Now, I saw that and I knew exactly what was about to happen. I knew exactly, right? I was standing there with the great friend of the channel, Mr. Cyberworld. Mo came down to see me. We watched the game together. Yep. That was fun. Having flashbacks. Sorry, I've got PTSD. I joke. I shouldn't. I'm sorry, anyone that suffers from that. Anyway. So as soon as I saw Arthur Masuaku's name on the team sheet, I knew what was about to happen. Now, Cyber decided to thrust his phone up my nose to tell me I was wrong. And it was going to be his phone up your nose. It was, yep, to get it right in my eyes, because that's where it needs to be. To tell me that it was a 4-3-3. And Masuaku was playing on the left. Of the front three? Of the front three. Okay. To which I told Cyber that he was talking a load of old tosh. And to expect to see, to expect you to be able to see, you've got, you know, Masuaku is the left wing back, Ben Johnson, yeah, that's right, at right wing back. And not Glenn Johnson this time. Not Glenn, no, he had a day off yesterday. And then you had the three of Zuma, Dawson, and Cresswell. Yeah, across your back there, exactly like you've got there, right? Exactly like you've got there. Now, the game started, and straight off the bat, I knew it was going to happen. We were shit. Sorry. Hammerhead, first, Double H. The first however long it was ridiculous. What's that about Oscars on the left-hand side of the screen there? Right-hand side of the screen behind your team sheet there? I can see your Twitter feed. Look. Yeah, I'm having to do it slightly differently. I've got a few technical issues here. Now, I have to say, it was blatantly obvious, and you'll know this, mate, okay? I just tried cucumber and sugar
My brain confused, tasted like watermelon. Just thought I'd share that. It's not something I'm ever going to try, although I have heard that. It's more actually. That's probably a lot more interesting than the game was. Anyway, it was blatantly obvious what was going to happen. Their first goal, if my memory serves me correctly, came from Cresswell playing far too deep as the back three. It was shocking, as Ken says there. There you go. It was painful. It was painful, and I personally think we were lucky to go in at half-time 2-1. If I'm honest,
yeah,
I really do.
they had a couple of opportunities.
Don't get me wrong. South Park meme of one of the characters sitting in front of the TV is how someone was going to be yesterday afternoon once someone had scored. But I listen. We were lucky. We were lucky to still be there at half time. It was, I can't. I'll cover all the incidences singularly. The lack of cards, especially a red one. But the first half really was quite painful to watch, Rob. What was the atmosphere like at the ground?
As far as the away fans were concerned, I've got to say we was all in good voice, but you know what West Ham are like when they travel, they sing their hearts out. We're sort of like, we bellow out our songs with great pride and enthusiasm. If the sort of like the team played with the same sort of intensity and verve that we blasted out the tunes that we did, then the result may have been different. Sadly, it wasn't to be. Sorry?
If I can just interrupt you quickly.
Of course.
Can you go back one comment, please?
Which one?
Just one. That one there. I'd like to give Becca and Paul a quick mention on this. If you can bring us back into the picture for me.
Do you want to go solo?
No.
Okay.
I can't even remember what night of the week it was, to be honest with you. I think it was Thursday. It was Thursday evening, just gone. I was going to bring this up on the stream on Saturday, but it didn't think poignant to. And as soon as she's cropped up, Becca on the chat. Becca, Paul, Becca's other half, Paul, works for me. He's a great guy. They've got a young little one. 3 months old, I think she is, little Freya. I was caught on the hop on Thursday evening when they both asked me to be godfather, me and Joe to be godparents to to their little one. So I just want to say to the pair of them, thank you, because that means the world to me. I've only known them for literally 12 weeks, which is 5 minutes in the grand scheme of things, and here they are asking me to be the me and Joe to be the godparents to little mini Fridge. I won't lie. Her name's Freya, but it's spelled with a J, so it's Freyja, if my memory serves me correctly.
Fridge.
So I call her little Fridge. Grace calls her mini Fridge. And yeah, I won't lie to you. It brought tears to my eyes. I won't lie. I was caught very much on the hop. Joe got a little bit emotional. Hey, Jesus!
Got a Gambian hammers in.
How
you doing?
Just wanted to give them a shout and say thank you, because it really did mean the world to me. It was.
That is superb news. I'm pleased for you all.
So yeah, I just wanted to give them a shout out and give them the the recognition. There you go, Freyja, Fridge. So yeah, Croc's the godfather. So yeah, it was. I must admit, it was a little bit moving for me, because I really wasn't expecting it. Like I say, I've only known them 5 minutes. They've got other people that have been in their life for donkeys, and there's little old me that crops up. But so yeah.
Well, you've clearly made a massively positive impression on their lives in 12 weeks. So
it certainly made my day. I'm not going to lie. Mini Fridge. There you go. See?
Love it. Brilliant.
Love you both.
Okay, so back to where we came in. So that was the Tottenham lineup, which yes, I got it 100% right. What can I say? I'm getting good at it.
You've spelt two names wrong, though.
Have I?
Yeah. The geezer wearing number 3 on the left wing. I do believe we spell that petulant child.
Okay.
And
I shall get my media department. I'll get them all to sort that one out for you.
And the number 7 on the left wing up there.
We're going in two-footed.
Sniper's target is all I've got for you.
Sniper's target.
Right. Pair of cunts. Sorry. Carry on. But answer.
You went in two-footed there, didn't you?
I did indeed. Just to answer Kent's comment, yes, I will. Yes, I am going to buy her first pair of Crocs. Going to be taking her out to do a proper fitting.
Claret and blue ones
with the little gibbets, because that's what they're called, by the way. The little adornments that go on them are called gibbets. And Happy, don't start. I was being nice to you earlier. I was being nice to you, Happy. You still didn't message me about what I asked you to tell me when you got home. You've ignored that. So I might just ignore you now when you bloody come back to me with it. But yeah, I stand by. Exactly. My comments on Son and Region. I mean, don't get me wrong. Listen, there was a big man up front for us that was kind of throwing himself to the floor a little bit too easy, trying to blackmail the referee into giving him free kicks, and I wasn't impressed with that. And you know that, Rob, because I put it in the chat. I wasn't impressed with the way he was going down. I think I even put it on our Twitter feed that what are your thoughts for the first 45 minutes, and I said on there that Antonio was going down too easy, and kind of it was painful to watch because he's better than that.
I probably hate to see our players diving and feigning injury more than I do other teams, to be honest, because I just like to think that we're better than that. We're probably not, if I'm being completely honest, because professional footballers, that just seems to be the modus operandi. If they feel a touch, throw yourself to the floor, try and claim for a foul, try and get the opposition carded. It's cheating, whichever way you dress it up. It's some people try and say it's part of the game and it's gamesmanship, and no, I'm sorry, it's cheating.
And that fucker started again yesterday, didn't he?
Which one?
The one that I pointed out in our preview. Pierre Højbjerg.
Yeah.
He decided to be an absolute twat monkey as well yesterday.
That's what he is.
He decided to be. Again, I had a couple of Spud fans in that were actually half decent. The rest of them go fuck themselves. But we had a couple of Spud fans in yesterday, and we were talking, and I turned around and said, he's the Højbjerg's the sort of player, Robbie Savage. He's an absolute wanker when you come up against him. But if he was wearing a shirt that your team were playing in, God damn, we love a bastard, and he's one of them.
I used the Craig Bellamy example.
Yeah, Marko Arnautovic did exactly. Yeah. It was no different with him. Julian Dix, Thomas Repka. We could go on forever. We've had players like that, and we've loved them. Yet one turns out for that bunch of tosspots yesterday. Am I right in thinking that VAR wasn't working yesterday?
It didn't seem to be, did it?
Well, last time I checked, and you guys in the chat, Kent, Happy, Enza, you can all tell. They're the only names I've read out because they're the only names I can see. If you raise your hand to an opponent to their face and strike it, I'm not talking about putting your hand in someone's if you put me back on screen, Rob, just quickly. Sorry. I'm not talking about putting your hand on their face and pushing them away. What I'm saying is if you raise your hand and strike, that's a red. That's a red all day long. Yeah, I witnessed Region decide to absolutely take umbrage to someone in the sniper's nest at the Tottenham Stadium yesterday. pick off Heung-min Son, and Son go down. And what they said was that it was Kurt Zouma hammered the ball so hard into the back of his legs, it may well have dislocated his knee. Am I reading this right? I'm not quite sure. But he went down like he'd either been shot or, or as Budgie at Green Street Elites has just said, it may well have been a wayward missile from Putin's army that hit Son at the stadium yesterday and completely wiped him out. Region walks up, or he doesn't walk up, does he? He comes steaming in like an absolute fucking wank train that he is. Slams into Ben Johnson because Ben Johnson tries to hold him off. And Johnson sees this happening almost immediately and tries to get in between. Shoves him flying, tries to get at Zuma. Cresswell comes in and up comes the hand from Region and smacks Cresswell straight in the face. Now, props to Cresswell. He just stopped and turned to the referee and went, "Please tell me you see that." And
VAR must have looked at it. Surely.
I don't think VAR was working, Rob. I really don't think VAR was working. I'm pretty sure I saw a post. It was either that or it was Liverpool, but VAR wasn't working in one of the games that was playing last night. And
Seriously?
Oh yeah. In the same way that it didn't work at the other one. It's on the Andy, if you go back and watch the longer video of the Zuma ball kick thing, you see him. He rushes in, he gets Johnson out of the way. Cresswell walks in and he actually slaps him in the face. Now, listen. It was one of many things that was designed to get one of our players sent off yesterday in the second half. Okay. It was that was their gameplay. I'm not being funny. We came out in the second half, and I believe, if my memory serves, for the I think for the first 25, maybe 30 minutes of the second half, we had 75% possession. Now, don't get me wrong, we didn't do a lot with that 75% possession. I'm not going to pretend that we were in the game, in it, or the rest of it. What are you nervous about, Rob? Is he going
Nothing.
No.
He's invited me onto his stream. Chris has Leicester Till I Die TV, he's asked me to partake in a quiz.
Oh dear!
You know me and quizzes, Duke.
Oh, I know you and quizzes quite well. We're going to be starting a new one next week, Rob. You need to watch your space next Monday at the tavern. We're going to implement a new quiz. I'll tell you about it later.
Me, I love a good quiz.
I think that for the first 30 minutes of that second half, it was their intention to get one of our players walked because I believe that they felt we were on. Pardon me. We were on top. We were trying to, I personally think we were the better side for the majority of that second half. And I just think it was, like I say, the stats say it there, the shots, etc. We did nothing with it. We did nothing with our possession.
You think we were the better team in the second half?
For half an hour, mate. Yeah, I do. We had more possession. We had better possession.
I'd say about 15 minutes.
It was about half an hour. It was literally about half an hour that we were the better side. Don't get me wrong. On about 75, we looked tired. We looked struggling, and it was there as Ken says. They tried to get a player sent off. It wasn't working with the way they were going down to wind us up. It wasn't working with Højbjerg to get up in their faces. It wasn't working with the referee fouling Son and Son rolling around on the floor for 45 minutes, or Region when the ball went out for a corner getting the ump because he thought it should have been a penalty or a goal kick or whatever it was. And then they decided to go one step further and actually slap a player in the face. And fair play to Aaron Cresswell for not retaliating. It would have been so easy for him to have the red mist to have dropped and him to gone in and get his own back, and that would have then started a brawl and West Ham players fighting a week after, 10 days after West Ham fans fighting in Seville and all the rest of it. It just wouldn't have looked good, So it's. As I said to you, right? He said to me 10 days ago, you beat Seville to qualify for the Europa League.
Yeah.
Quarter-final. and you lose to Spurs. All right, yeah, I'll take it. And listen, I said to you that I wasn't.
Jeff makes a great point here. Have you seen this as well?
Oh yeah, no, that was the one I was getting on about. He went down like he'd been.
The ref was like, "What was that?" And he's on the floor. It's like
it wasn't even. But if you, Gacy, I'll send you the link because there's a copy of the video, right? Okay. He runs into the referee, but he watches where the referee's going, Rob. He sees the referee. He knows it's the referee, and he runs into the referee deliberately, hoping that they'll get the drop ball or something in and around the area. He looks at the referee, changes the direction of his run, and runs directly into the referee. He knew exactly what he was doing, and it's embarrassing for a side that consider us beneath them, for a side and a fan base that consider us not even worthy of their time. Gatesy, what was written in their programme yesterday?
I've actually got it. Bear with me.
Go on. I made a comment about them living rent-free, or we're living rent-free in their head. And I really do believe we are inside that. That's a toxic fan base as well. It's a very toxic fan base.
So everybody knows this is genuine. This is the match day programme from yesterday. Look there. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. What does that say?
I'll read it out. At this stage of the season, every game is like a cup final for us, and no more so than today. So basically, even the guys writing the fucking programme have turned around and said that West Ham is their cup final. West Ham, they've literally said it. It's there. And I even pointed out to a couple of spuds on Facebook today that it didn't bother me. Listen, right? We were 2-1 down. Okay, we'll discuss the goals shortly. Well, you might have to, because I might have to go. We might get beyond that. We were 2-1 down, and we were looking. Okay, we were looking, and I turned around and said to the spuds with 5 minutes to go, that we're in my pub, I don't care if we now lose this 3-1, as long as we still keep trying to look like we're searching for the equaliser. 3 minutes later, what happens? We concede the third. I wasn't bothered by the fact that we conceded the third because we were still looking to try and get the third goal of our own. So I at least we didn't just 2-1 defeat or a 3-1 defeat weren't going to make much difference at that point, So I kind of wanted them to carry on pushing, and we got caught high up the pitch, and we all know that Son, he's got afterburners, and away he went. So listen. Was what it was. We're still Europa League quarter finalists. We're still seventh in the league. I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to have my say on Son as well, if I may.
Please do.
I think he's a wonderfully gifted footballer. I think he's I think he is a world-class player. Let me get that right out the way. Would I like to see him in claret and blue? Yeah, you damn right I would. But here's the thing.
How old is he now, Rob?
I don't know, 27, 28. I don't know.
I think you might be wrong. You carry on talking. I'm going to have a Google.
You're going to Google it. Okay, right. He might be a bit older than that. But here's the thing for me. Like I say, wonderfully gifted footballer, and I'd take him at West Ham all day long and twice on a Sunday. But I do think that he gets away with an awful lot more than an awful lot of other players would and do. Simply because of his, quite smiley demeanour generally, okay? Possibly playing for one of the top 6 clubs helps, but let's just park that for a minute. I think because he's generally portrayed in the media, so every time you see him in a photograph, he's like, he's like Ronald McDonald.
He's got more teeth in his mouth than Shergar the horse.
Well, quite possibly. You may very well say that. I couldn't possibly comment. But I think he does get a little bit of leeway because he's quite a jolly character, or at least that's the portrayal. There's an awful lot about Son Heung-min that I think is quite questionable. Like I say, he does dive a lot. I don't like diving, and I don't like diving when it's a claret and blue player doing the diving, even more than when it's an opposition player. I'll get that straight out there. I hate it. Absolutely hate it. It just seems to be something that professional footballers feel is completely acceptable, and I don't. Maybe I'm a little bit of a dinosaur in that respect, but there you go. The falling down, the sort of feigning injury. Yesterday, he got hit by a ball that wasn't travelling at any real pace, any real ferocity behind it, and he feels it and throws himself to the floor. Oh my goodness. And here's another point that I made this on the group chat. I do think that there's a little bit of snobbery. I don't know if that's the right thing, but consider this. This is a guy that a couple of years ago snapped I think it was Andre Gomez, wasn't it? Snapped his leg in half with an absolutely horrific challenge at Goodison Park.
Yeah.
Absolutely horrific challenge at Goodison Park. And no one really mentions that anymore. That's sort of like, oh, it's done, move on. Do you remember Martin Taylor, centre-half who played for Birmingham City, snapped the leg of Eduardo da Silva, who was playing for Arsenal, again, a top 6 team. He got absolutely pilloried for that challenge, absolutely crucified.
And I don't think...
For a long time after that. And
I don't think that tackle was that bad, if I'm honest with you.
It was bad enough to snap the guy's leg in half.
Yeah, no,
Let's
but
put it like that.
Thing is with Son, he was chasing back and stuck his leg in between Gomez's legs, and for me, it was a deliberate act of.
In fact, I think Sharky's just mentioned it here. Yeah,
he didn't. He didn't try. But don't get me wrong, he didn't try to break the guy's legs, but it was reckless. He stuck his leg in between the guy's legs as he was running. It's no different than putting a stick between spokes of a bike. The difference for me from the Taylor one, when he broke Eduardo's leg, was at least he was trying to attempt to play the ball. He was all right. He was reaching for a tackle, and because Eduardo got to the ball and planted his foot as he won the ball, obviously the tackle was ankle high. He's rolled his ankle and has put the bone through the skin. I'm not saying it wasn't an awful challenge, but he was trying to play the ball, whereas Son was deliberately trying to bring down an opposition, which resulted in the broken leg. For me, that's worse.
Yeah, I just look at Son and think if he wasn't as sort of smiley as he is, if he was a bit more surly, let's say he was Marko Arnautovic, someone who has quite a sort of like a sort of poker face. Do you know what I mean? I think that he'd get an awful lot more stick than he does, but because he's sort of like he's always, I think he gets away with an awful lot that other players simply wouldn't. And as I say, I'm not saying that simply because he's a Tottenham player and it's sour grapes. I'm saying that because I just think he gets away with an awful lot.
Can I ask you something?
You can ask me anything you like.
And people in the chat. Something that was brought to my attention on Facebook earlier, actually, with a couple of Spud fans going backwards and forwards with some Hammers fans in a. It's a friend of mine, Daryl. He sometimes watches. So, Daryl, if you're watching, pipe up.
Not Daryl.
Daryl George.
The ball.
No.
All right.
Different one. Basically, he turned around and said that if Kane leaves, because although West Ham have gone a third of a century longer than Spuds have since they've won their last trophy, he said that one of their key players will more than likely leave next year if qualifying for Champions League doesn't happen. And Kane leaves and goes to City, let's say. Well, what happens when you take Kane's 25 or 30 goals out of that Spurs team? They plummet. They plummet quite rapidly. What if you take Dawson or Zuma? If you take those out of our club, well, we replace them. I don't think Spurs are going to be able to quite readily replace Harry Kane because they're not competing for things. We'll be able to replace. Listen, Zuma cost us 25 million quid. I think we can go out and get another 25 million pound player that's just as good as Zuma. Do you see what I mean? Yeah. And I was like, you know what? He's got a point there. If he decides to go next season, Spuds could be screwed.
They'll probably bring someone in, but you're not going to bring someone in of Harry Kane's quality because the list of strikers that are as good as he is, it's a bloody short list in world football. It has to be said.
Yeah.
So, you know, and again, I wish I could say it wasn't the case, but there you go. It, you know, it is what it is. Can I just say before we sort of get on to talking about the goals, Milesy, in the group chat that we're all in, I have put a StreamYard link in. So if you want to jump on, mate, help yourself. So the first goal, Duke, who do you blame for that? Is that Cresswell? Is that on Masuaku? Where does the responsibility, I don't like the word blame, responsibility lie?
No, you can put blame. It obviously starts with Masuaku, doesn't it? There's no getting away from the fact that it starts with Arthur. But for me, Cresswell is out of position. Cresswell is not where he should be. He's not looking along the line at where his fellow defenders are. He is far too deep. Good evening, Sahel. Good to see you. And that's the reason the ball ends up in the back of the net, mate. He's played onside by Aaron Cresswell. So for me, you could quite easily say that the blame lies at the pair of them, but it actually lies with Cresswell, be all and end all. If he's on, if he's up, it doesn't happen, does it? He's offside. The goal doesn't count. Everyone's happy, and we go another 5 minutes without conceding.
Yeah, I'd probably say both of them have to hold their hands up to a certain level of responsibility, but I do think Masuaku got robbed. He got his pocket picked too easily for me. Just
no defending, mate.
No awareness of anybody that was around him. It just was really, really poor. The second goal, however, and that first goal, it was attributed at the time in the stadium to Son. So I came out of the ground thinking that he'd scored a hat-trick against us. It latterly turned out, as far as I was concerned, that it was actually an own goal by Kurt Zouma.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm thinking the second goal was the offside. Sorry, yeah, no, that's me being a knob. No, the first goal was, that's the one that rolls in off of his knee, isn't it? Yeah, sorry. No, it's the second goal that was more his, was Cresswell's fault. No, but yeah, the first one was quite poor. Yeah, I mean, listen, Zouma, if Zouma doesn't slide in to try and block that, we say that he's not committed. He slides in to block it. It rolls in off his knee. It's a goal, and you kind of go, "Oh shit!" Why did he have to? Listen, he was on a no-win situation for me. Was Zouma with that one? He doesn't go in. He gets blamed. He goes in, scores no goal. It's just crap, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, we've got someone that's popped into the green room. It's not Milesy, because as Milesy said, he's had a long day.
It's his better-looking dad.
It's his better-looking dad. The Budgie. How are you, sir?
Good evening, gentlemen. I'm fine, thank you. Better-looking dad. Cheeky buggers, the pair of you. Hold up, hang on. Let me kill
Wait, don't blame me. It was him.
I meant granddad. Sorry, Budge. Sorry. I meant granddad.
Oh, you ain't that far away from me, son. I could get up there. I've got enough diesel in the car. Come up there.
A few quid to fill up, though, wouldn't it?
True. Yeah, it cost me 150 fucking quid last time. Jesus.
Brutal.
Yeah, it was brutal.
What were your thoughts on the opening goal, Budge?
What, Tottenham's opening goal?
Yeah.
Oh.
But where do you
think
the burden of responsibility lays? Is it Cresswell?
I think it lies. I think that.
Oh no! Well, hang on.
Done a lot better.
Before you continue, I'm not having that. You got to be
joking. All right. We won't call you granddad. We'll call you Pop.
Behave yourself, Happy. Listen, that's not nice.
All right, Pop. Come on. We'll get you. Anyway, we'll get your blanket and your slippers in a minute. Come on, crack on.
Hold on 1 second.
Oh, he's stripping. That's it. He's getting his guns out.
Is that the Iron Maiden shirt? That's the Iron Maiden shirt.
Yes, it is. Cool, she's.
Love it.
Yes, indeed. Our friend Darren Higgins from Thailand sent this over for me.
Did he?
That's his cottons. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he sent me 2 of them.
Lovely boy.
Yeah, and this one fitted me. The other one was too small. And
what was it? A double X?
Rebecca was very funny. Rebecca's had a bit of a rough time, and she, Rebecca and Appers.
Yep.
So I sent the other one to her, cheer her up.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Actually, on that note, no, actually not on that note. Don't worry about it. Something else.
Okay. So, Budge, your thoughts on the opening goal for Spuds?
I thought Zuma could have done a bit more. I've got to be honest with you. For the first time since he signed for us, I've been disappointed with Zuma. The first time was yesterday. But where does the blame lie? I think it really lies in David Moyes' team selection, if I'm honest with you.
You're referring to Masuaku?
Yes, I am. I don't actually want to pin the blame directly at Masuaku's feet.
Okay.
I suppose I should, but I think really and truly, I think it boils down to David Moyes' team selection and the tactics that he wanted us to employ. I don't think it worked. I think it completely the wrong way to go.
Yeah,
I mean, if that had been a 4-3-3, with Masuaku in it, may have worked differently. May have worked very differently. Masuaku, in the front line rather than as a defender.
Yeah.
Maybe it would have worked differently, but it didn't.
Do you think the shape was
played.
wrong?
Yeah, completely. I mean, 5 at the back doesn't work for us anyway.
Hey!
He turned up.
I tell you what, I'll be honest with you. I had to tell Cyber to stop shouting at the telly yesterday, like about 3 times.
Was he getting a bit annoyed?
He was loving life. He was loving life, and I'm not gonna say a bad word about him. What I will say is, they couldn't hear him, and by they couldn't hear him, the players at the ground. Although he was probably shouting just loud enough for them to hear him.
Yeah.
The poor bastard sitting next to Cyber at the same table didn't need to have his eardrum replaced at half time because Cyber, God love him. But we had a good time, Cyber, didn't we? Even though we lost.
Fair enough.
Pain in the ass.
Yeah.
So you're blaming. So you think it was more the shape rather than the personnel, Budge?
Yeah, I do. I mean, the personnel weren't perfect, were they? Let's be fair. And look, I've never really been a big critic of Arthur Masuaku. I have to be honest. I've always liked him. I know he has his flaws, and he's probably third choice in that position. But I really like his character. I love the way the team are around him, and the way he is around them. He's actually a part of our squad fully. He's a fully fledged part of the squad. It's just on the field, he just hasn't. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but he opens himself up for criticism, and unfortunately, it really wasn't the game for him yesterday. Really, really wasn't the game for him. 4-0 would have been a much better option.
Before we move on to talking about the second goal that Spurs got, just this one from Jeff. It's a really good question, but it's quite difficult for us to judge how either of these two would go against the Premier League back line, and because they've not really had much of a chance in the first team. I mean, Perkins has had a couple of sort of half chances in the first 11, but coming on as a sub, and Oko Flex hasn't played a minute, so really difficult to judge. Really difficult to judge.
And that's a massive shame, Rob.
Yeah,
Oko Flex hasn't had. I mean, he's been showing his worth in the 23s. There's talk about people looking at him. The likes of Leicester, I think, was mentioned.
Really?
Shown an interest. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I heard the other day, that Leicester had shown an interest in him. And the thing is, though, he's only been with us a year, hasn't he? So that kind of puts a kibosh on anybody actually bidding for him, because you have to be more than for more than a certain amount of time. What is it? It's about 18 months, isn't it? Before you can then be sold on, I think. Something like that, anyway.
I think, I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I mean, there's so many rules, and I think it's slightly different. Things are slightly different for players that are under 23 years of age, aren't they?
Could be, yeah.
I think they have to be homegrown. So would Ocko Flex count as a homegrown player? I mean, obviously he's in the youth team, but we got him from Celtic, so I don't know all the ins and outs of that. But anyway, moving on to the second goal. I'll bring it to you first of all, Budge. Again, where do you think that the goal was preventable? Or I mean, it was, to be fair, it was a fantastic ball. It has to be said, from Harry Kane, that bisected our back line, cut it open impeccable with surgical precision, and Son did what Son does. He left Kurt Zuma on his arse, and the ball actually looped up off of. You actually watch it again. The ball sort of like spins up off of the shin of Kurt Zuma, and just sort of it just loops over Lucas Fabianski in the goal. But was that goal preventable, or do you think that's just, you know?
I think it was preventable. You know, I mean, the thing is, we've not had a player tight on Son or on Harry Kane, and we should have had at least one tight on both of them. So, you know, preventable in the respect that if we hadn't given them the space, that ball would never have come over, blah, blah, blah. But as far as when Son received the ball, I think the outcome was inevitable. I've got to be honest with you. He's bloody incredible at what he does. I don't agree with what he does to get free kicks, etc., etc. I don't agree with any of that. In fact, I think he's probably one of my most hated players in the Premiership for that reason. But he's also one of my most loved players in the Premiership because of what he can do with the ball. Yeah. You know, and the fact that he plays for, you know, the Spuds is a massive bone of contention for me. Can't stand the fact that he plays for them. You know, and I don't like the heap praise on the guy. But he is incredible with the ball at his feet. Incredible. Yeah. Best left winger in the world, in my opinion.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. And if there are better left wingers in world football right now, again, it's a very short list. Duke, again, same question to you. Their second, preventable? Could we have done something to avoid it? Where are you on that?
Yes, you could have done. Cresswell could have stepped up, played him on by, you know, a good 2 or 3 yards.
I've got to say, we thought in the stadium there was a few people near me that were like, "Is that not offside?" And I was like,
he was a good 3 yards on, mate. Easy, good, at least 3 yards on. What I will say is, and it was something I wanted to bring up. I was literally, I think I said about it in the chat. I thought Roger Johnson was playing yesterday at one point.
What, backing off?
Fuck my life. Like, we're past 9 o'clock now, so that's fine. He fucking, mate, if he'd got any further
you dropped
back,
the C-bomb earlier, so I think we can.
Listen, he was so far. He was backing off so much, backing up. I thought he was going to end up fucking in time machine, going back with fucking Marty McFly. Jesus Christ! Stand up and stick a fucking foot in. The more you let Son run at you, the more chance you've got of ending up on your ass, or at least being turned inside out, right? He did it twice yesterday. One thing I used to teach kids when I coached football was if you're a defender and a attacker's running at you, find your bearings, get a tackle in. What you never do is if they do a step over or they go to the left or the right, is that you turn your back to go and meet them. Never turn your back because they go the other way. You're putting yourself completely on the back foot straight away, right?
Yeah.
Twice. Our £25 million centre back, a Champions League winner, a World Cup winner, it was in the World Cup squad. Turned his back on Son when he was running. The amount of times he was backing up. No, stand your ground, stick your foot out. Make a tackle. Don't listen for their 2 goals. He backed up too much. Backed up.
Yeah, he did.
During all of their attacks in the second half, backed up. It's jockey. I get that, but then there's also backing up. And for me, That's all he did. He was retreating towards his own 18-yard box, penalty spot, 6-yard box. Shit, I've got nowhere else to go. And I just can't. I can't. Oh, I was fuming. I literally was screaming at the fucking telly that stop backing up and stick a tackle in. You literally.
Bear with me 1 second.
You're going to end up tripping yourself up. You keep backing up, and it was just ridiculous. And it was inevitable that when he scored that goal, the second one, just what was going to happen. Just what was going to happen. He backed up. Goal. Job done. Don't just. I'll be honest with you. I was sick and tired of seeing it yesterday because Son will punish you. Son will punish you. If you attempt to make a tackle and he does something to get past you, that's fine. But if you let him run backwards, if you're going to run backwards and let him run at you, you're asking for trouble.
Yeah. Well, we get to the 35th minute, Duke, and we get a corner.
No.
Cresswell.
I've got to go. I can't let it know.
No. Get your cans back on.
I'm not here.
Get your cans back on.
We can see your arm, Duke.
I don't want to talk about it.
Why is it you can't give a super chat on the channel? Well, you're right. I'm sure that. Yeah, I was going to say we've had a couple, not many, but we've had a couple. Not that we do this for the money. That's news to me, Sharky. It really is. But,
I'm not here.
Yeah. No, put your cans back on. Get back in the shot. Get back in the shot. Get back in the shot. We're going to talk about West Ham's goal. 35th minute.
It was a good goal. Yeah, cheers, bye.
Corner from Aaron Cresswell, out swinger. Craig Dawson gets up, flicks it on, back stick, side foot volley, near post of Hugo Lloris, World Cup winning goalkeeper. Was a certain Saeed Ben Rama Duke. Scored our goal.
Sorry, I missed that. What's that?
He got, and in case you didn't know, he got 2 assists against Villa as well the other week. So,
hey, what? Yeah, it was a good goal.
Saeed Ben Rama scored a goal.
Oh, you said his name in my ear. I'm going to bleed from my eyes now. You said his name. I heard it.
Now listen, I'm going to get this straight. As far as I was concerned, he was our man of the match.
Me too.
He was our man.
Sorry,
of the match.
Joke, but he was.
I mean, I don't know if you saw it on the graphics I was putting up a little earlier.
I'll be honest.
And
I must have seen a different game. I'm not going to slag him off.
Really?
Yeah, I must have seen a different game. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that. I did call him the Algerian Aladdin because he's
one of your more kind analogies for it.
Algerian Aladdin. He's been able to con a load of people into thinking he was something he's not. He's not quite an Algerian. He's not an Algerian prince. He's an Algerian street rat.
Forget about previously. Let's concentrate on this game. 1 shot, 1 goal. Pass accuracy was 100%.
What did he make? 3 passes?
No. He attempted 2 dribbles.
I'm being facetious.
He made 2 tackles. 2 tackles. We keep sort of like castigating him for his defensive effort isn't good enough, blah, blah, blah. He made 2 tackles. So, he had a good game and scored a goal.
Listen,
I watched him at the match, and I thought he was our best player in the match.
I don't think he was the best player in the match. I don't. Okay. I'm not. But I'm not saying he was the worst.
There's an improvement.
Listen. He attempted to get us into the game. He was trying to do things. There's a reason for that, Sahil. Again, I'm not going into it, but. Listen, he attempted to do things yesterday that that the other players weren't even bothered with. He tried to drag us back into that game by the scruff of the neck. He tried to, 41. He tried to get us into a situation in the positions, and there were a few occasions when, I know I can't remember who asked the question earlier about Jeremy. I think it was asked the question: would Occo flex or Perkins? Listen, we're not going to know because they weren't there. I think they might have done. Antonio put one over from
Antonio.
Yeah, Antonio put one over from 3 yards. Oh, Jeff, not Jeremy. Jeff. He put one over from 3 yards. If my memory serves, that was a cross from Benrahma. It's not that he didn't try,
Cresswell.
and was it Cresswell? It's not that he didn't try, but he did a lot without. It was a lot of endeavour with very little outcome in the end, and that's not his fault. It was the others around him. There were times when I remember he received the pass from Declan Rice, and the only person that moved into position for a pass from, say, Benrahma was Declan Rice taking 2 steps back from where he was when he passed it to Benrahma. Everyone was very static. And so I'm not going to listen. I'm not going to like I say, I'm trying to have a bit of a giggle at other people's expense in the chat. You are. But I'm not gonna badmouth him. I don't think he was our man of the match personally.
Really?
Okay. I don't think we had one. I don't think we had one.
If you had to pick our best player, all right, it wasn't a great team performance, but for me, Benny was playing.
No, I'm joking, Scott.
Fair enough.
No. Declan Rice was off his game. I don't think he was, up to it. Sahil's right, and team were knackered. But then I'm not being funny. Spuds only had an extra 24 hours on us. They only had an extra 24 hours.
But they didn't play an extra half an hour in that game.
We should have got it done earlier, then, shouldn't we?
Hang on, it's one of the best. Come on, dude, you're being a little bit harsh now. I mean, this wasn't like we were playing the Dog and Duck second 11, was it? We were playing Seville.
Don't moan. If you don't want to play, listen. If you don't want to, if you're going to moan about the half hour, don't play the half hour. Get it done in 90 minutes.
It's easier said than done, though.
Oh, it is. Listen, I disagree with you, but at least we're not in the conference farmers market. That's what I'm saying. Shut up, you in the background. It's not torture for me, Scott. I can say when he has a good game, and I will say that I think he's done well. I was critical against him against Villa because other than the 2 assists, he did fuck all else. Yesterday, at least, there was a lot of endeavour. There was a lot of trying from him, and that's more than I've seen from him in a lot of games this season. His head didn't drop. He kept his head up, and he kept trying to go. He kept trying to make something happen. He had the endeavour about him, and I'll give him a hell of a lot of credit for that because when others seemed like it wasn't happening for them, their heads kind of dropped. It wasn't happening for him, but he kept trying.
It's a great technique for the goal, though, wasn't it?
It was superb.
Oh, it was awesome.
It was a great finish. I have to say, I celebrated it. Looked up, saw him celebrating, and went, shit.
I liked his celebration as well, though. I liked his celebration when he ran past.
And yes,
and went like that. Held his hand over his
Richard and Jake were sat not very far away from me yesterday, and Jake come up to me at half time, and I've got to get this out there, Richard, because Jake very kindly said he'd do a little piece for me that I was going to include on the match blog. And as I started recording on my phone, this kind gentleman sat behind me. Said, do you want me to record it for you? So I went, oh, yes, that'd be marvellous. Thank you very much. So he took my phone and he said, right, I'm recording.
Off with it, legged it.
No. Oh, and that was when we scored the second goal. If you watch the match blog, I actually dropped the phone.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You see the goal go in and then everyone goes up and then my phone just sort of flies up in the air and ends up on the floor just very briefly. That was quite fun. I thought, I could have edited it. I thought, no, stuff it. I'm going to leave that in there. It's natural. But anyway, so this fella's recording Jake and I sort of like, talking about the first half as it had unfolded. And this fella's recording it. He gives me my phone back and Jake clears off back to his seat and this, that and the other. And then I check afterwards.
Picture, wasn't it?
Yeah. We was chatting and he took a photograph of a silly sod. Listen, whoever he was, he had a heart of gold. It was a great idea, but I wouldn't give up your day job if you think you'd have been the next David Bailey or Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
Just saying. But,
yeah, well, at least, Rob, you haven't done an hour and something chat with somebody and then realised you haven't recorded any of it.
That'd have been sick, wouldn't it?
That's
Oh my!
I did that with Wally, didn't I? Wally World.
Yeah.
Sat with him for an hour and a quarter doing the in crowd with him, and went to stop it, and I went, I didn't even start it.
Oh my goodness, you're joking.
Gone through a whole hour of chat with him.
That's
Nothing.
outstanding.
Nothing on tape.
Can you imagine if that had been our one, Budge?
Oh, mate. I probably would have phoned you up and said, come on, we've got to do another 3 hours.
Oh, I'll see you in a sec.
How you doing, Lee?
Yeah, mate.
Talk to me, Budge. Our goal. What were your thoughts on it?
Well, I kind of, when the ball went out for the corner, I went, do you know what? I turned around to one of the lads in the pub and I said to him, do you know what? I'd love Ben Rama to get on the end of this. He went, would you? I said, yeah. He goes, why? You don't like him? I said, that's not true. I actually do like him. I just don't like the fact that he only plays an 80% game. You know, that's, you know, I kind of generalised. I said, you know, he really only generally puts 80% into his game. I'd like him to put a full 100% in, you know. I said, but I do like him. I think there's a player in there, etc., etc. And while we're chatting, I actually missed the goal live because I was chatting to him and forgot about the corner. And he went, I don't believe it. I went, what? He goes, Benny's just scored. I went, oh, shut up. And then, obviously, you know, the commentary and then the replays and everything. I was like, I'm quite happy with that. Maybe we're going to get ourselves back into the game. And I kind of tried to be a little bit more positive about the rest of the game. You know, it gave me a little breath of fresh air, as it were, really, thinking that maybe we might just get back into this game.
I mean, yeah, listen,
I was quite happy.
I
the finish was impeccable.
It was what technique? What technique? I take nothing away from him on the technique for the finish. It was controlled. Yeah. It had enough power behind it.
Yeah.
And it was impressive, to say the least. What I will say is, like I said earlier, Buds, I don't know about you. It's certainly how I felt anyway. But do you not feel that when we had 75% possession for that first half hour in the second half, we didn't even look like we were going to break them down. We didn't
do anything with it.
We had all the possession in and around the halfway line, but we didn't get anywhere really near their box, did we?
No. And, you know, the thing is, I felt that last night we were playing back too much as well, playing backwards too much. We've seen very little of that. I mean, obviously during the game, it's inevitable that it's going to happen. You have to play back at times. There are no options, or it's the best option opened here.
Yeah.
But yesterday, I felt that we were playing back far too often, far too much. And, you know, I did actually question the tactics. I did actually question the tactics at that point, because I thought, well, you know, because we're, you know, playing the three at the back with two wing backs going through it, you know, basically it's a back five. And I just felt that we weren't ready to go forward after the game. You know, we just weren't ready. We just weren't prepared to go forward. I
think Richard makes a great point there.
I can't read it. My eyes are
fucked.
It says that we didn't get anybody up close enough to Michail Antonio. To be fair, although I think that Michail Antonio had an awful game, absolutely awful.
Piss poor.
Yeah,
and he's just very lucky that we haven't got another number 9. Because
we have two.
But I think we have in Vlasic.
Okay.
I just wish one day David Moyes would go, look, I've got no option. I'm going to have to stick Vlasic up front. And then he goes and pops in 2 or 3 goals. I'd love that to happen, because then David Moyes might go, oh, actually, I have got a number 9 available to me. And I think Vlasic would be a lot more comfortable as a number 9 than as a left or a right winger. I mean, he can play the 10 role, I reckon, but I think he's more suited to a central role, if I'm honest.
Okay.
But I may be wrong.
do you think we'd have to fundamentally change our basic style of play to accommodate him?
No, because
he's a different type
the
of player
work rate
Antonio,
that, but the work rate that Bowen puts in when he's fit, and the kind of work that Ben Rama showed yesterday that he's capable of, I think would compensate for the fact that Antonio goes out onto the wings and, you know, drops deep and stuff like that. I think that those two guys would compensate for the lack of Antonio doing that. But don't get me wrong, Vlasic has got a work rate about him. He'll do what is necessary, but I think he would probably concentrate more on that central channel where he's needed. You know, I mean, look at the times when a ball comes into the box and you think, Antonio should have been on the end of it. But the trouble is, he was the one putting the ball into the box. So, you know, somebody like Vlasic, who is quite a regimented player, when he's told to do a job, he goes out and bloody well does it. Do you know what I mean? I think
2-2.
Yeah. Or even a 4-3-1-2. Do you know what I mean? Have a number 10 and 2 strikers.
The reason I say 4-2-2-2 is because a 4-2-2-2 is easy to opt in and out of his usual 4-2-3-1.
Yeah.
You've still got your two wide players, be it Ben Rama or Fornells on the left, Bowen on the right. You've then got your two strikers in Vlasic and Antonio. But what you can then do with that, with Vlasic, if you want to go back to the 4-3-1, is just drop him back in and behind. So then you've still got your three across the middle. You've still got your two at the defensive midfielders. Then you've still got your back four. Now, for me, that would be the way forward. You've then got someone up top. And if it's not working, it's easy to change. But you've got someone up top playing alongside Antonio, which in theory would hopefully stop Antonio from pulling too far out wide.
In theory. But we know what kind of player Mikel Antonio is. And if he sees a little white round object anywhere near him, he's going to go and get it. You know, simple as that.
Like a bee round a honey pot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And, you know, I don't get me wrong. Look, I love Antonio. I love the work rate he puts in. You know, unfortunately, there have been very few goals for him in recent weeks. But, you know, you can't really knock his determination and his drive. When he's fit, really he has a go.
Unorthodox.
You know, yeah. But then that's what makes him the special player that he is, though, Gately. You know, the fact that he's a little bit unorthodox. Yeah. I mean, 1 minute you get like the perfect striker, and the next minute you've got, you know, this universal winger type striker who can do anything and everything on the pitch, you know. And the fact that he's learned his trade, and, you know, he's rolled forward with every change of job, as it were, you know, gives him a little bit more substance in the going back and retrieving, or the wing role that he does tend to do. You know, he's got the experience for it, so why not implement it? And, you know, if that confuses other teams, all the better. You know, trouble is it confuses us a lot of the time, and that's not good. Yeah.
Fair. You know? You got a dash, haven't you, Duke?
I have. Joe was only meant to be covering me for half hour. We've been going for an hour and 3 minutes, so I don't suppose she's going to be too happy when I walk downstairs to take over from her in a minute. So
just tell her I was on here, and you know what it's like when me and you get together. She's lucky it weren't 3 hours, mate.
I was just saying, she's lucky it ain't 11 o'clock. That's all I'm saying. You know.
Still doesn't come close to our record, though, does it, Duke?
No, I did say this. It was, what was it, 5, wasn't it? I did say this to someone the other day. I just want to answer this with Trudge. He says that he's just there, let us down with Hlosek. I don't think he let us down with Hlosek. It was more or less that he asked Declan Rice who Declan Rice wants, and Declan Rice said Calvin Phillips, and we've covered this numerous times over on the channel on other videos. We were told that Hlosek would be linked with us because of obviously the links back in Czech. So, you know, it is what it is. Oh, look, hence the wink. All right, sorry. I've missed that. But no, I've got to go. Like I say, she's going to shoot me. Happy, I'm sorry, but you can reach out to me in the chat if you need to still get some, you know, your bit of your Duke. Not quite sure what bit you want. I mean, listen, I'm not quite a married man, but I'm not far off, so you can deal with her if you want. Casey, you need to bury yours in the garden after Sunday's result. That's all I'm saying.
Don't worry.
If she's watching, Diane, I love you.
Hang on, is that her in the background there, Gatesy? Because like I think she's got
behind me. Shit, what? Where? Fuck me, she crocked up. Crocked up. Look at you've got me doing it now. Happy. I just said she crocked up. Not rocked up.
Freudian slip.
I love you all. I shall see you all soon. I will once I get downstairs. I will log in and hopefully be in the side chat if you're still going. And I will deal with any comments that come up in there. I'll speak to you all later.
See you later, alligator.
See you later, mate.
No, crocodile. See you soon. Love you all. Bye.
In a while, crocodile. Yeah, that's it, mate. Take care.
It's not working. I can't leave.
Hang on. Do you want me to kick you out?
That's
right. He's
gone.
Out. He's working.
Yeah, he's gone.
Excellent. Again, I was at the match, and I've got a certain perspective on it. And I have watched the match back. I put myself through that punishment. I actually, when I got home from work, I saw that they were replaying it this afternoon on Sky Sports 2, or whatever it is called now, Sky Sports Premier League main event, whatever. And I did watch it, and I thought that in the second half I thought it was about a 10-15 minute phase of play during the time I was there, and I've watched it again, and I think probably it's about right. But Duke seemed to think it was more like half an hour thereabouts, but whatever. But there was a phase in the game where we had control of the ball and we carved out a few opportunities, just couldn't finish it. There was that chance on, I think it was 56 minutes, where Cresswell plays a ball across the 6-yard box, and Michail Antonio blasts it into the stands, and that was his last involvement with in the game. He was subbed pretty much immediately after that. Yamalenko came on. He'd obviously scored 2 in his previous 2. It didn't happen for him yesterday. I don't entirely blame him. I really don't. But how did you see things? Did you see it sort of like that? We had a good spell that we just couldn't sort of convert the chances in that second half, or do you see it?
Yeah. Have you seen that? Bloody smuggler and grabs.
Yes,
she's a cheeky bugger, isn't she?
She is. Going to get a very, very smack bottom.
Yeah. I think for periods of the game, as you say, it was probably about 15 to 20 minutes. For periods of the game, I felt that we had a bit of a handle on it. I thought we were going to start making inroads into their lead. We had 1 or 2 opportunities, and as you say, you know, clumsy finishing or attempts at finishing. Kind of very disappointing considering the game on Thursday, but also not a massive surprise for me for some reason. You know, I just kind of knew that we were due a game where we got royally spanked, if you ask me. I think we were due that game, and I'm not glad it was against Tottenham, but I'm glad it's over and done with, because now, you know, it may inspire us to do better.
Well, there's obviously an international break, but my cousin mentioned, and he might still be watching this, Dave.
Yeah.
And he turned around and said, you know, we have these international breaks, and it seems to take a game or so before we get back into our normal pattern, if you will.
Yeah.
And I sort of thought about it, and I was like, oh, he's got a point. I don't know. Has Michail Antonio been called up for Jamaica? I've got no idea. I know that Benny's not been called up by Algeria, which, you know, for him is bad news. For Algeria, may or may not be bad news, but I'm looking at it from a West Ham point of view, and I'm like, oh, he
Cool,
hasn't been called up for Jamaica. Well, that's good news for us. Benny's
Indeed.
not being called up is good news for us, because it will mean that they can't go away and get injured, and they'll when the Premier League resumes, they'll hopefully be fresher for it. But
yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
so
but that really is going to sort of depend on the training regime during this period as well, though, Rob. I mean, the thing is,
they obviously, the sports science department would look into it and sort of know who's struggling, who's on fumes, and all the rest of it. Surely,
yeah, definitely. You know, and I think that, you know, on occasion, and I mean on occasion, that, you know, when you've got players that are internationals that haven't been called up, as we're experiencing now, I think, you know, these international breaks can be a bit of a godsend. Although we're not getting any decent football, any club football, we are able to rest certain players. I mean, look, Vladimir Sufal, okay, he's not going to play for the Czech Republic. He hasn't been called up because of the injury. That now gives him an extra 2 weeks of rest and recuperation that maybe he wouldn't have got if he'd have been closer to return. Then, you know, because the Czech Republic may very well have called him up. As it was, they looked at it and they went, well, he's not going to be ready. Let's not call him up. That's a bonus for us, you know. The fact that we've also got Sojek and Kroll both going, which they definitely will be, I'm pretty sure. You know, that kind of that's not so welcome. You know what I mean? The fact that Thomas Sojek, who's now started to find a bit of form again, you know, there's a risk with him playing elsewhere.
Yeah,
of course, you know, anywhere. So, you know, that's not such a good point for us, but you know, it depends on what happens. Hang on a second.
my cousin Dave, please tell me you call him Rodney, not to his face.
All right, well, do yeah, love it. So, so when are you doing this quiz for?
It's tomorrow, 9 o'clock on Leicester Till I Die TV.
Oh, right, cool. When you get the link, Gates, you know, the YouTube
on the big screen in the pub. Say hi to the 3 people watching. Duke, what are their names? What are their names? Name them. Name check them. Come on.
Yeah.
Let's fast forward. Let's talk about the goal that effectively ended the match as a contest on the 88th minute. It was basically a goal kick from Lloris, boomed forwards. Harry Kane rises like a salmon, and he's got 2 players on him. He's got both Kurt Zouma and Craig Dawson challenging for the ball with him, and obviously the ball drops straight to the feet of Son, and obviously both the centre backs are taken out of the equation. He's pretty much got a clear run on goal. I mean, that was just rank bad defending from where I was sitting. I was like, you know, come on, this is schoolboy stuff. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, defending 101, fail. You know, I'm sorry, but
communication.
Yeah, and you know, the thing is that, you know, I've often said that in Kurt Zouma and Craig Dawson, we have captain mentality in the defence. You know, that they both have a captain mentality about them. Yesterday, neither of them showed it throughout the game, really, to be fair. And that's a bit of a worry as well, that Ben Johnson's been called up for the under-21s. That's a bit of a worry for me, because that's quite tough.
It's a worry from the point of view that, if he comes back injured, but for his career, I'm made up for the kid.
Oh yeah, God, yeah. I mean, the fact that he's had a call up is awesome for him. You know,
brilliant. I'll tell you what, Duke. Sorry, just real quick, Budge. Duke, do you mind if I share the news that you put out on the chat about the pub earlier? It's cool if you prefer me not to, but just to give you guys a little bit of due credit, if you want me to, I will. Let me know. yeah, the defending, getting back to the third goal, the defending I just thought was amateurish, and it just
piss poor.
made Son's life. Don't get me wrong, I thought it was a fantastic finish. He put it away with consummate professional ease. But it was made so much easier by just those two centre backs going for the same ball. You know, normally one will go for the ball and the other one will do the mopping up of the picking up the pieces. And had that happened yesterday, I don't think that third goal goes in. And the game, for the last embers of the game, it's still in the melting pot. You know, one goal, we could get that, but as soon as that goal went in, that was it. Game was over. Move on. It was not very good.
I thought Lanzini looked a bit lackluster yesterday as well.
Oh,
he didn't.
She's still watching.
Mate, listen, I love her to bits, and you know I do. But Lanzini was lackluster yesterday. Look, there was no lack of effort from him, but it was just there was no end product from him. And you know, I'm actually quite disappointed that he was substituted, because you know he can pull out a worldie, as we know, like he did last year. You know, and I was just kind of hoping for something like that in the dying moments. But, you know, without Lanzini on the pitch, who else can do that? Who else can just produce that little bit of magic? There aren't many players. Well, yeah, he could. He could.
Duke at this point is now foaming at the mouth.
Yeah, he's probably thrown something at the TV in the pub, claiming it was a customer.
Probably. How dare you? How dare you give him compliments?
But, yeah, I mean, definitely Said Benrahma was capable of it, but will he do it? You know, he's tried one or two times, I know, but, you know, it just seems to come so natural to Lanzini, doesn't it? Just to be that extra little bit. And I think, you know, that some of that is from what rubbed off when he was playing alongside Dimitri Payet. Because, you know, we all know that he felt that Dimitri Payet was an inspiration to him, you know. So I think, you know, he learned a lot of his technical craft, I think, by playing alongside and watching Payet. You know, his injury completely ruined him for a long period of time, and he's come back really strong.
You know what I've just done?
Yeah.
I've blocked Duke for 5 minutes.
He's been put on a naughty step, has he?
Yeah, he's trolling us in the chat, so I've just blocked him for 5 minutes, put him on a naughty step. Fucking bollocks. Hiya, Dukey. Hello.
Hey, Duke. How you doing, mate? Get your Spurs on, son. Here he comes. Watch.
It's all right. We'll at the end of the season, once Benny's got his 10 goals for the season in the Premier League, we're going to get him a Benrahma shirt. He'll have to wear it.
Or a cardboard cutout.
Yeah.
Super glue it behind the bar.
Yeah.
Up against the wall.
he may well, Scott. He may well. He might have gone onto YouTube and he's looking for Benrahma's best bits. So
yeah. Did you see that message that just popped up in the group chat from him?
What, from Duke?
Apparently we're cheeky bastards.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hang on. I'm just going to have a look, because yeah, we are. And I'll take the blame, because I've obviously got so it's not Budgie, it's me.
Yeah. Guilty is charged, you know. Yeah, well, I don't mind taking part of the blame for it.
Ban him, says Walshy. Ban him completely.
Do your regulars know about your croc fetish?
Yeah. Oh, I think they do. I think he wears it as a bit of a badge of honour around there.
Yeah, right.
What can I say? So he loves him written. I don't know about that, Scott. I don't know about that. Like I say, I'll be honest. I thought at the match, I thought that Benny was our best player. Now, you could argue that the rest of the team didn't exactly look great, so anyone in comparison would stand out. But that being said, he can only do what he does, what the other players do around him to, you know, look better or worse than he does. He can't control that. For me, I thought Benny was having a go. I thought he was bright, incisive. He got the goal. But I do you know what? I know that for Brentford, he played on the left, and most of the time for us, he plays left. Occasionally, he might play as the 10. I actually thought he looked. I thought he looked really good on the right because he's playing as an orthodox winger. Do you know what I mean? Because he's right,
rather than the inverted winger that we've been used to.
Yeah, so an inside forward essentially. I actually looked at him yesterday, and there was one ball that he put in. I think it was in the first half. He gets to the byline. I think it was. Was it? Yeah, he went past Regulon. I'm sure it was, and he puts in this cross, really quality cross. No one. No one got on the end of it, but there's, he can only do so much. He can only sort of like play the ball in and put it into the area and go, right, go on, have a go at that. I'm supplying you with a decent cross.
No, it was Son.
Scott's. Yeah, I was going to say, no, it was someone down the left. Couldn't remember if it was Son or Regulon, but he put in this ball, and I was like, that was a proper quality ball, in fairness, and no one took advantage of it. But you know. All he can do.
Yeah. And until now, nobody really mentioned it. Fabianski.
Here's one. I tell you what. Do you want to do player ratings?
Shall we? Yeah, go on. If you've got the time,
make time for you. Don't worry about that. So you can give your thoughts on Fabianski by giving him a mark out of 10, sir.
Right. Okay. So Fabianski, kind of Mr. Reliable, but I get frustrated with him because he doesn't like to leave his goal line very often, and he's very, very rarely further than 6 yards out. He really doesn't. Right, Lee? He really doesn't. He doesn't command his box, which for me is, that's probably one of the first rules of being a goalkeeper, is that 18-yard box is yours. Nobody else has got a right to be in there unless you let them in, kind of thing. Fabianski's not great at commanding his box. I prefer Areola for that. But I think yesterday, I think the best I can give Fabianski is a 4.
Wow. Okay. Guys in the live chat, do like what Scott's doing. Please feel free to jump in and give us your markings of the players as we go, which is exactly what Scott's done here. He says that he's given him a 5. He says he could have done better with the second, too slow to react to the small deflection.
Yeah.
I think the ball was travelling at pace, and obviously that deflection, it doesn't help, but
no.
I don't really think that he did make one save, didn't he? I think it was in the second half, if I remember rightly. He came out to block a shot from, who was it? Who had the shot? I don't think it was Son.
It was that. No, it was the other guy on the other side. No, what's his name?
Kulusevski.
Kulusevski. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I don't know who it was, but he came out. I'm sure it was in the second half. And he made one, but that's the only save that I can, off the top of my head, really remember.
Even so, it was probably only about 7 or 8 yards outside of his line.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll go Aaron Cresswell, Budge.
Aaron Cresswell. Well, listen, I don't like to be critical of Aaron Cresswell because I think that he's been the consummate professional since he's been at West Ham. I think he's absolutely grown with the team. The team have grown around him, and he has captaincy potential. I mean, at this moment in time, should Declan leave, I think Cresswell's probably first in line for the captaincy. But yesterday, he weren't great. He weren't great. 1 or 2 decent passes, 1 or 2 decent tackles, and a block or 2. But, it's still only about 70% of his game. Nobody put in 100% yesterday. Whether they could or not is another matter, but nobody did. And Cresswell gets a 5.
Okay. So we move inside Cresswell, which was Craig Dawson.
Yeah, should have been Zuma though, shouldn't it? Really? Why did he swap them around? Do you know?
Normally, when we're playing a back 4, usually it's Zuma that's left and it's Craig Dawson that's right.
Yeah.
obviously, I guess because it was a back three, then Cresswell was the left of the three. So then they put
Zuma
Dawson
in the middle.
centrally,
Oh,
and then
sorry.
Zuma right.
Yeah, right, yeah. See, the thing is, I think Zuma's more comfortable on his left foot than he is on his right for some reason. Is he left-footed, Zuma? Don't think he is he?
Zuma, no, he's right. I'm fairly
Yeah,
sure.
he's
I'm fairly
right-footed.
sure he's right.
But he seems to be more comfortable on the left side of defence. I felt he was out of his comfort zone. And as you said, you know, for the second goal, was it the second goal or third goal? No, third goal, when they basically went for the same ball. I think that was as a result of them being played out of position or out of their
usual
kind of
default.
their normal formation. So as I said right at the beginning of all this, I kind of blame Moyes for the tactics, etc., that was implemented yesterday.
Do you think he was sort of like so concerned with just trying to match them up in terms of their formation that maybe he should have just gone, no bollocks, we're going to do our normal either 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1. I mean, he's played 4-3-3 a bit over the last couple of matches, but 4-2-3-1
and that's worked for us, Rob.
Yeah.
You know, that really has worked. I think he should have stayed with the 4-3-3 myself. I was looking for that right, you know, just before the announcement of the teams. I was looking for a 4-3-3, and when I saw that 5, whatever it was, I was like, what the hell is he doing? Why would you do that in a game like this? You know, why would you use a formation that we're not used to using? You know, we've probably used that once or maybe twice this season, and it hasn't worked for us on any other occasion. So why would you do that? You know, it's like putting diesel into a petrol car. That is, to me, you know, it just
fair enough.
It's going to break down. It's going to break down.
So then we'll go to. So we've done obviously the first two of the back.
I didn't give it. I didn't give him a rating.
No, you didn't. Sorry.
No, I'm going to give him a 5 also.
5. Okay. And how about Kurt Zuma? He had a bit of a torrid afternoon, it has to be said.
He did, and you know, like I said, from when he arrived at the gates until yesterday, I have not been critical of him at all, other than his off-field antics. But while he's but while he's been wearing the shirt and while he's been on the grass, all I can say is he's been one of the better players we've had all season. You know, aside from when he had that injury, he was out for a couple of games. Other than that, he's been completely reliable, completely consistent, and he's been a handful at times, especially like on set pieces, corners, etc. He's been a handful. He's had a goal already, you know. So yesterday was the worst performance I've ever seen out of him, regardless of what shirt he's wearing. And I have watched him quite a lot when he was at Chelsea, because obviously my brother's a Chelsea fan. He watches our games with me. I watch their games with him. You know, so yeah, I can't give Zuma any more than a 4 for yesterday. And he really didn't even deserve that. It should have been a 3.5, but I can't give 0.5. So I'm going to go with the 4. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Fair enough. Okay. Okay, so then we move into the midfield area. Arthur Masuaku.
What can you say about Arthur that hasn't already been said? Other than I hoped for the best and didn't get it. And that was another 4.
You expected the worst, though, didn't you?
Yeah. Hope for the best.
You got it.
The worst. And got what I expected. That was a poor performance. And, you know, again, I can't give him a 3.5. I won't go down to a 3 because he didn't deserve a 3. It's going to have to be a 4.
Okay, fair enough. Move over to the other side, Ben Johnson, who, it has to be said, recently has really impressed in the right back slot. But this was obviously, he was being deployed as a right wing back. I mean, what were your thoughts on him at right wing back?
defensively, he was still good. You know, he has a very, very astute defensive game about him. He's regimented. He knows what's expected of him, and he knows what he expects of the players around him. Also, you know, he's very mature for his young age, and the fact that he's just had an England under-21 call up, I want to congratulate him on that. Fair play to you, Ben. It's brilliant news. Just don't get yourself injured, son. We need you. As far as performance is concerned, he can have a 5 because although going forward he isn't the greatest, he still worries people. He still troubles people. You know, he's able to, you know, he's got a bit of speed about him and he's got a bit of technique about him. He's able to get himself up the pitch. Just when he gets up there, it's a little less exciting and a little less productive. Let's just say that.
Something he can add to his game, but I do think that, like I say, when you look at the top tier of English right backs, so you're looking at your Kyle Walkers, you're looking at your Trent Alexander-Arnolds, you're looking at your Kieran Trippier's. As far as his defensive attributes is concerned, I would say that they're comparable, but they're not sort of like, he's not miles behind them three.
No, he's not.
As far as his offensive output is concerned, that's probably where he's going to fall apart.
Yeah, agreed. And, you know, there is nobody better in that position at the moment, in my opinion, than Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's absolutely quality as a right back. Well, you know, as a fullback, I should say. There isn't a better one in the country, but Ben Johnson ain't far behind him. It's just as we've said, you know, the offensive side of his game needs polishing, you know, and that's all it is, because he's got it there. He's just not a great producer of you know, attacking momentum. You know, he can get up there, but it's getting the ball in. You know, 1 or 2 of his passes yesterday were properly wayward, but generally, I think he's a vastly improved player. You know, other than Jared Bowen, for me, he's our most improved player this year.
Fair. Okay, let's turn our attentions to Declan Rice.
Worst game I've ever seen him have. Honestly.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't think he was great at all. I mean, look, he's still reliable. He still does his job. But, you know, Declan Rice is that kind of player that inspires. I don't think he was very inspiring yesterday.
Okay.
I felt that he kind of trod water a little bit for some of the game. He wasn't his usual self for me, Rob. You know, I mean, look, he wasn't bad by any stretch of the imagination. Well, I say he wasn't bad by any stretch. He wasn't terrible, but he just wasn't great, I didn't think, you know. And, you know, we expect a lot more from Declan than we got yesterday. And, you know, that's why I'm disappointed. And that's why I think it was his worst game that I've seen.
Okay.
You know, he didn't inspire enough. You know?
Okay, fair enough. What would you give him out of 10 then?
He's got to have a 6 because of what he can do and what he does do. And what he did do yesterday. You know, even though, as I said, it wasn't his greatest game, it wasn't by any means like a diabolical performance. So a 6 is a fair figure for him, I think.
Okay, fair. His partner in crime, Thomas Sojek.
Again, not the best of his games. Not the worst either, though. Judging, well, going by some of the games we've seen recently. It was an average performance, I think, from Sojek, and I think he knows that as well. I think you could see the disappointment in him at the end of the game yesterday, you know, like on the cameras. You know, when they zoom in on him, obviously, you know, you don't see in the stadium, you don't see the detail in the faces unless it's up on the main screen, unless you're right by the pitch, which obviously you never are at London Stadium. But you know, Sojek,
Hotspur Stadium.
Absolute. Sorry, Hotspur. Oh yeah, no, it was at Tottenham, wasn't it? Yeah, that's right, it was. Which is a bit closer, isn't it? Yeah, I didn't think he had the greatest of games, but again, it wasn't the worst of games. He's had worse games recently. And I think I'm going to give Tom Sojek a 5.
Okay, fair enough. Happy Hammerette will hold it against you if you give him anything less than a 10. But what are you going to give Manuel Lanzini?
Like I said, I felt he was lackluster yesterday. He looked tired. Oh, they all looked tired, Rob, but he did look tired. You know, Lanzini kind of he's one of these players that you know is going to do something special when it's needed. He was substituted too early for me. He should have been kept on because of that potential of something special. Going to give Lanzini a 6.
Okay, fair enough. How about Duke's favourite player?
Said Benrahma.
Yeah.
I'll say his name out loud twice. Said Benrahma. So Said Benrahma, what can I say about Said Benrahma?
100% pass accuracy.
For me, listen, yesterday, Said Benrahma showed what it's actually supposed to be like as a West Ham player. You put in the effort, even if the end product isn't always there. You've got to put in the effort. And for me, yesterday, he was the only man in claret and blue that put in 100% effort, regardless of his 100% pass accuracy, his goal, bit of skill that he showed. Other than all of that, he put the effort in. The desire was in him. There's 100% desire in that man yesterday. And he's going to get a 7, the best score anyone's going to get today from me.
Okay. Which only leaves, as far as the starting 11 is concerned, Michail Antonio.
A solid 5 performance from him. He moves about, he does this, does that. But he just really, for me, yesterday, could have done a lot better. He trod on the ball a couple of times again, didn't he? A 5 for me for Antonio. I'm sorry, but it's only a 5.
Fair enough. Do you want to mark the subs as well?
We might as well while we're here, Rob.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, go on. We'll do Andre Yamalenko, who obviously came on for Michail Antonio.
Yeah.
I think it was 56 minutes from memory. Yeah, 56 minutes.
From the time that he had on the pitch, I felt that he settled into the game fairly quickly, and he kind of tried to make a bit of a difference. He showed the effort, which is more than he has done in the past. He showed a bit of effort and desire. He'll have a 6 off me for yesterday for his time on the pitch. Yeah,
fair enough.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible. I mean, I don't want to criticise him for yesterday because there really isn't anything that I can criticise him about.
Fair.
He was a completely different player to what we've seen 6 weeks, a month ago.
Fair enough. Pablo Fornals also came on with Yamalenko, and he replaced Arthur Masuaku. What did you make of El Fornicador?
That was the happiest moment in the game for me. When Fornals came on.
Okay.
Yeah. I think Pablo has a certain air about him that is truly West Ham, Rob. For me, he's as much West Ham as Mark Noble is. I know that's going to be a bitter taste in some people's mouths, but I think that, he plays for that badge. He plays for the club. He loves us as much as we love him, as supporters. And, when he comes on, he always tries to make a difference. Unfortunately, yesterday, he didn't really have enough in him. He was a bit tired, and I don't think that anybody had a particularly great game. So, Fornals gets a 6 because You know, again, you know, the effort's there, the desire is there. It's just the end product, you know.
Fair enough. Which, I mean, is it fair to mark Nikola Vlasic? I mean, he had
3
6
minutes, wasn't it?
minutes.
Oh,
Yeah,
6, yeah.
He came on in the 84th minute. Obviously, I think there was 5 minutes of injury time that was added on.
Yeah.
So, including
That's
injury
11.
time, he had 9 minutes on the pitch.
Oh, 9 minutes. Yeah.
He came on for Manuel Lanzini. It's probably got to be really unfair of me to ask you, but do you want to give him a mark? It's up to you.
Listen, there's only one mark I can give him, and that's a 6, because, you know, he didn't have any time or anything like that.
Nah.
But, you know, he didn't look like he was going to cause problems for us either. It looked like he was just strengthening the team that we had out there. And, you know, I'm actually a fan of Vlasic. I really do believe in him. So I'll give him a 6 purely and simply because I like him, you know.
Okay. Which
I like that comment, Andy. Sorry, Andy Walsh said 4 nails gets the West Ham.
Yeah, he does. Thing.
Yeah. That's what I love about him.
Yeah,
he's a proper Spanish Cockney.
Leaves one person to mark, and that is Mr. David Moyes.
Right at the beginning of this, you heard my criticism of him and his tactics, and
yeah,
I think yesterday showed me that although David Moyes has done wonderful things for us, I still think that there is a certain element of his vision of a game or his implementation of tactics in a game that is just below average. Not below average, but below expectation. You know, that he does make a bit of a fuck up from time to time with his selection and with his formations. Yesterday was one of them times.
Yeah,
David Moyes gets a 4 out of 10 for me.
Ooh, brutal. But then again, the buck stops with him. I mean, like I say, when I saw the team sheet, when we got the news, I was actually down in the sort of like the downstairs, in the concourse of the stands, sort of like where all the stands are and all the rest of it. And Jake and his dad Richard was standing next to me, and a couple of other guys, Graham, and so we got the teams come through, and Jake turned around to me and said, you know, this is the starting lineup, and he named them all off.
Yeah.
And when he got to Mass, I was like, what? And it was like, oh God, no. And we was trying to work out formation wise, what was he playing? Was he playing, you know, was he playing 4-2-3-1 and Mass was the left of the offensive midfield 3, or was it going to be a back 5? And of course, the game unfolded. We soon found out. I think
back 4
Moyes
plus Masuaku.
Yeah, I think Moyes was too concerned with trying to match up Tottenham, who you knew were going to be 3-4-3. I think he was too overly concerned with that, rather than possibly using the attitude of, no, do you know what? We look at our best
play our
generally
game
when we're 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3, whichever. I mean, to be fair, you know, if you stop and think about it, you can easily transition from one to the other during a match anyway, 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3, so it doesn't really make much of a difference. But I did think that he was possibly sort of like more concerned with trying to match up at what Antonio Conte put out than anything else. But Walshy, I do not disagree with that. Now, we got someone that literally just popped into the green room, and I'm going to warn him that we've only got a short period of time before we knock this on the head. But I've given him the opportunity to say his piece on the matters yesterday before we knock it on the head. Talk to me, Peach.
That's why I came in late, because you know I love to talk for hours. So, like, I made sure I came in late, so I only had like 2 minutes.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, Pete. Right, thank you, everybody. See you later.
Talk to me, Peach.
Oh, Budgie Boys turned into Budgie the Bastard. I don't believe that. Budgie, how you doing, my friend?
I'm very well, thanks, Peach. Thank you for asking. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Gatesy, and yourself? How are you, man?
I'm all right, mate. I'm all right.
It must have been crucifying watching the match over and over again. Like, well, you watched the replay, didn't you? Like you were saying earlier.
Yeah, I put myself through the whole 90 minutes because I know that watching it at the ground and watching it on coverage are two different things. You can get a different perspective on things. I didn't. I thought that the better team won when I watched it at the ground yesterday. And to be honest, when I watched it on the Sky Sports, nothing I saw changed my mind.
Exactly.
I mean, to be honest, I didn't realise the shenanigans that Son was doing when he was brushed by a football that sort of like, you know, just trundled sort of towards his leg. I didn't realise that was what happened. It was only latterly that I realised, and I was like, yeah, you piece of work you are, mate.
I noticed it straight away. I was screaming at the TV in the pub. But, you know, people going, oh, shut up, that didn't happen. I was like, watch the replay.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. And to him and Regulon wasn't like, I don't know, he wasn't, you know what I mean? He was doing them things.
There were quite a few snipers in that stadium yesterday.
Yeah.
So give us your thoughts on the match yesterday, Peach.
I beg your pardon, Gatesy?
Give us your thoughts on the match yesterday. Just sort of, you know, a sort of like an abridged version of Peach's analysis of the game.
All right. Well, I agree with what Budgie said. The formation we went in with, we weren't used to. Why did we go in with that? I don't get it. I thought there was a lot of diving going on. I thought there was a lot of crooked refereeing going on. I thought we looked cream crackered at certain times, and it's catching up to us. And Matsuaku, get rid of him. Like, please, Benham, get rid of him. He's not good enough now to be at West Ham. He is not good enough.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of people that disagree with that.
Who was the standout player for us, Peach?
Standout player for me? That's a good question, Dave.
In claret and blue, I'm talking.
Duh. Standout player for me? Like Budgie had a good point, or was you, Gatesy, that said Lanzini was there, but he had no end product. Like, Happy has to massage those thighs to get him, like, finding some end product. Happy days, but like happy endings. But like Ben Rama, he looked all right. But then, you know what? 4 outs, like the Spanish Cockney. I think he should have got deployed a lot earlier than he did.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, Peach. As I say, it was just a short and sweet introduction from you, a cameo, if you will. Before I do wrap it up, I'd like to draw people's attention to Jeremy Wheeler's 13-mile walk for the Alzheimer's Society. You've got I'll tell you what I'm going to do, just real quick. The wonders of copy and paste. I am going to put this into the chat. So if any of you guys want to make a donation, please refer to the link that is now in the live chat and on the banner on the screen. Jeremy is undertaking a 13-mile walk, and the proceeds of this are going to go to the Alzheimer's Society. If any of you guys have ever seen the impact that Alzheimer's has, not just on the person that's suffering from the condition, but from their family, their closest friends, and the people that are closest around, the carers, etc. It's devastating. It really is devastating. So this is a very, very worthwhile cause. So we at Falls from Iron are full square behind this campaign. It was
also
first brought
Green
to my
Street
attention
Elite.
by... Sorry?
And Green Street Elites are right behind it as well.
Yep, Green Street Elite. And Beach, can we put West Ham random to this?
100%, because I've been in the situation where my father's my father's friend who used to play football with him. He suffered from Alzheimer's, and it's almost like seeing a person that doesn't know themselves anymore, and it's so
you're
sad.
losing your soul,
like
literally losing your soul.
Yeah.
So please, guys, we would ask you, no donation is too small, but as always, as we say, dig deep and give generously as you can, and we always thank you very much indeed for
Even
your
a
support.
pound, £1 is enough.
Even a pound.
Yes.
If everybody that watches all of our streams donated a pound.
Can I also say something, Rob?
Of course you can.
Guys, if you can copy and paste that link, please share the shit out of it. Throw it on every social media platform you can.
Please.
Flood social media with it, guys, because this is a great cause.
Absolutely. Right. Well, I'm going to end it there, gentlemen. Thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you for the invitation.
Who wants to play the part of Duke?
Yeah.
Which one of you two wants to play the part of Duke?
I'll do that for you.
Okay.
Come on, Budgie.
Budgie, what are we?
We are fucking massive.
That'll do me, my friend. Come on, you irons.
That was it.